everybody. Okay. Good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. How's it going? How is it going, everybody, everybody? Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all of you. Hello, hello. I know you really want to see over my hand, but you know, that's just not the vibe for right now, my angel. That's just not the vibe for right now. As much as I know you want it to be the vibe for right now. Hey, everybody. The book exchange was actually great. I decided to meet at 2 Stephanie. Wait, what's wrong? Why are you not able to stay? I hope it's a good reason. We have like an appointment or something that you have to go get a picture of little Miss E. What are you doing? Are you really? Is that really over mommy's hand? Silly Billy. The book exchange was great. I made 2 friends. I did not find out the name. Oh, work has been an issue. I did not find out the name of the book Cart Lady, but that's because I was so busy talking to my new friends that I did not get to engage with the book Cart Lady, so I don't know if her name is Lauren. But I made new friends, and I made them because I brought my book. Oh, what was that? In your freezer. No, why, Victoria? What happened? What happened? Was the power out? Yeah, it was great. Basically, what happened was I was standing at the book table, and it wasn't formatted. Good morning, Amanda. How are you? It wasn't formatted the way that I had imagined, which was totally fine. It was just like a book table where you could put down the things that you brought, and like it was basically like leave a book, take a book. Oh my gosh, power going out when you're not home is not fun. So I was looking at the books that were on the table, and there wasn't really anything that was speaking to me, but I'm reading through them anyway, just kind of like whatever. And there were only like 2 or 3 people there also looking through books, but no one was really talking to anybody else. And then somebody said, yeah, I pretty much brought all the books that are here so far, and there were like 60 something books, right? And so what I said just like offhandedly was, oh my gosh, how did you carry them all? You know what I mean? Just like, hey Jen, like kind of making a joke, but like, I mean, like obviously she probably brought boxes, but I was just like, oh my God, that's a lot of books to bring, like 60 books, you know what I mean? I brought 3. I didn't say it like that. I was just like, oh my gosh, how did you carry them all? And 2 women standing next to me laughed, and they were like, no, really? And the woman explained that she had like brought boxes and whatever like that, and I was like, haha. And so then, morning Jillian, so then I looked at the adjoining table, and I saw that Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern was on it, which I had been meaning to read, and I thought maybe if it's appropriate we can read it for book club or whatever. I'd been meaning to read it. My sister said it's really good. So I said, oh, I've been meaning to read this book. So I picked it up, and the girl standing next to me said, oh, I brought that. And I said, oh, amazing. Well, since it's a trade thing, do you want to look at what I brought? And she was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay. So I pulled out the 3 books that I brought, and I kind of gave like, oh, this is romantasy, this is like traditional romance, and I was like, I wrote this one. And she was like, well, I want the one you wrote. And I was like, okay. And so then she and her friend who came with her and I all started talking, and we talked for the whole rest of the time that we were there. We exchanged info, and we're gonna try to like meet up and be writing partners, like critique partners and stuff. So it was really cute. She is a teen librarian over here in Venice Beach, right? And she is starting a sensory day for the teens. And so I'm going to go and meet up with the teens at her library and teach them to make slime. Full circle. She does. She wants to be friends with all of you. But how amazing is that? That like, she was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try to get your book into our library. I was like, that would be so cool. And she was like, yeah, I'm doing like a sensory night with my teens. I was like, funny story, I make slime. She was like, wait, what? I was like, that's my job. I make slime. And she was like, oh my God, we're trying to have a sensory day with our teenagers. I was like, I would totally do that with you. So yeah, that's what happened. So literally made new friends, and I'm gonna go and help some teens who need to de-stress, make slime, which I think is a good thing to do, right? I also mentioned to her, yeah, I think, I think it's a good deed to like, do an event for teens who like need to get out of their head, whatever like that. I think that'll be a really feel good thing for me. But the other thing, hold on, let me put these milks away. Since it was amazing altogether. And since she's the teen librarian, I also mentioned to her, definitely, Jen, definitely. I will mention that because, like, why not, right? So I mentioned to her, I was like, hey, since you work with the teens at your library, I've also been really thinking about trying to host a thing. It came to my mind yesterday during my baby wearing class that it might be really good to host like a teen-specific baby wearing thing for teen parents so that they feel more in control of their life, of their situation. Because if you're a teen parent, you probably feel like everything is falling apart around you anyway. And if you've made the decision to keep and raise your baby, the more support that we can give them, the better. And I was like, what if I teach them to properly wear their babies for 3 reasons, really. One, so that they can do it properly and have control of their lives in a way. But also, I think wearing your baby properly gives you confidence to stand confidently in what you're doing, and they're already getting funny looks just by being teen parents out in the world. And so if you are confident in how you're carrying your baby because you've been trained to do it properly, how much better are you standing forward as a mom or a dad or whatever. So I mentioned that to her as well, and she was like, I'm absolutely going to hook you up with the people who do those kind of programmings at our library as well. So I think that that's like a really good thing too. It just like popped into my head. I was like, what if, so I don't know. Those are my takeaways from yesterday's event. I mean, not to say that those of us who are adults don't need the class too, but you know what I'm saying. Like let's give this to the teenagers as like a pay it forward, Yesterday was crazy though because I don't know if you guys heard it right at the end of book club yesterday. There was like loud noise, and it's already started now, and I thought it was just my neighbors being loud, but they're actually doing construction upstairs, and it went on all day yesterday, and it was like the loudest thing ever. It's so loud. It was like banging so hard all day yesterday that Secret Husband took a half day and like didn't go to his meetings the rest of the day and just like did work elsewhere because he couldn't focus during his meetings because it was so loud. So I was like, man, that's brutal. And he had to just like, he was like, I have to work elsewhere. Like, I can't do this. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't blame you. So that was annoying. Getting her to nap was really hard. So anyway, those were the things. How was everyone else's yesterday? I'm gonna make slime today. I'm gonna try to do it on live. Let's see how it goes. It's gonna be this afternoon, like probably around 1 p.m.-ish, because I need to make bases for Friday's roll for slime. So I don't know if you can hear them. They're already up there right now, which is what made me think of it. They're starting early. And so, yeah, that is today. Hopefully we'll make some base on live. I don't know. We'll see. It will help them stand up for their children as well. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Lori. You can't hear anything? Okay. Well, it's good for you guys. Bad for me because it's very, very loud here. But that is neither here nor there. Someone is not sleeping, as you can see. I'm sure you can see. This is a very awake child. But she's putting her head down on my arm like she wants to sleep. So that's good. Let's get into it. Let's get into reading. Yeah, let's get into reading. Okay, we're on chapter 20, you guys. Chapter 20. Here we go. You know what? It's better today, Avery. Thank you for asking. And I've been wearing my distance glasses whenever we go out for like walks and stuff, and I think that's helping. And oh, you're just drooling all over me, aren't you? Do we have a drool cloth? I guess we don't. Hold on one second. Can you look this way? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, my angel. Who's my sweet baby angel? Yeah. So, hey, Jamantha. I've been wearing my distance glasses when we go out and stuff like that. And I think it's interesting. Oh, the doll. Oh, you can see Jamantha. Oh, that's funny. Hi, Jamantha. Jamantha Jr. It's interesting because I noticed yesterday, like when I take them down and look at things far away, it's not that I couldn't see things that were far away. It's that things are just slightly blurry. And I think, thank you, Lainey. I think that part of the reason I got the astigmatism is that I think I was compensating for the slight blur by squinting, which is like squeezing your eyes, which is not good for them, obviously. And everything is crisper. Yeah, exactly. It's crisper with the glasses, but also it's making me not squint, you know, which is really nice. So I'm trying to be really diligent about wearing them so that I don't make it worse. Okay, Kiki Pants. Okay, Kiki Pants. It's time for you to nap. And that can give you headaches. Exactly. Exactly. So, you know, we'll see how this goes, you know. It's fine. I thought I had perfect vision. LOL on me, right? Shows what I know. But let's read and see what happens, because I can still read. Princess is good. She just needs to take a nap, right? You know, oh, more drool. Fun for mommy. Wow. So the drool just dripped onto my toe. That's how much we're drooling. We drooled all the way down to mommy's toes. Oh, I have drool on my toes. That's a feeling that's new. That was a new feeling, and it wasn't my favorite one of the feelings. Yeah. Astigmatism is different than vision that you could have as a grade. Yeah. I mean, I had to get glass in the 2nd grade, so you had a good run. I did. I had a good run, right? I made it a good 35 years longer than you. Yeah. Or a little bit longer than that. Or a little bit less than that. I mean, I can't do math, whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not drool shaming. I just am saying that maybe not drooling on my foot. Thoughts? What are your thoughts on the matter? Look, I'm not telling you not to drool at all. I know that that's literally impossible. Just like, how about not on my foot? Yeah. Okay, can we focus? You want to focus on napping? You want to focus on napping? I was interested to see these as individuals. That's really funny, Jen. My husband was talking about how he loves, I know, called me out in front of my aunties. My husband was talking about how he loves those videos of like when little kids get glasses for the first time and they get to see their parents clearly for the first time and they're like, oh, mommy, you know, and whatever. And he said it makes his heart flutter a little when he sees those. So I thought that was pretty cute because, you know, he's walking green flag. And so of course he would love those videos. Okay, so let's go ahead and read and hope that these people don't, you know, destroy our lives. Here we go. Chapter 20. Pinesh's sword thudded to the earth and he collapsed, senseless. I whipped around to see Maisie emerge from behind a tree, a blowgun balancing delicately in her fingers. The mouthpiece... Okay. You would rather do something else? Okay, maybe we need to just give up the ghost and go to your playmat. What about that? What if we do this from the playmat again? coming, honey. I'm just, ow. I love when they get glasses and the hearing. Oh my gosh, right? When they get hearing for the first time. FYI, still lots of volume, even though I'm after going to the gym, super sweaty. Oh, that's exciting to hear. I'm gonna have to get that stuff. Okay, hold on. I'm just repositioning us over here so that somebody doesn't yell at me that somebody is my daughter. Oh my God, they are so loud already up there. It's really crazy, really crazy. Okay. So you have toys. Here's toys for you. And mommy has book. Here's book for mommy. Okay. Let's try that again. Have you ever considered outdoor book club? If I didn't live in such like a noisy place, yeah, but like it's like it's the city out there, you know what I mean? So like I think we'd be able to, I don't know, like there's just so much going on out there. Like if we lived in a more rural area maybe, but like we live in Los Angeles, you know? I don't know. Okay, you ready? Okay. I whip around to see Maisie emerge from behind a tree. A blowgun balances delicately in her fingers, and the mouthpiece is attached to a braid vine around her neck. Her latest necklace there. Emotionless, she watches Panesh expire. We'll live longer with two of us, she says. I guess you proved that. I rub my neck where the dark entered Panesh's. Allies then? She thinks it over and nods and pats the pouch at her hip. Yeah, but I've got a dozen poison darts left if you're still feeling exclusive. Noted. It sure is good to see you, Miss Donner, I say. The cannons fire them 3 times, shutting me up, and I take in the dead bodies around us, and for the first time I recognize that I've killed someone. You hear them now. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna wake him up. I mean, they've just been banging like crazy. It was all day yesterday until 6 p.m. As loud as you're hearing it now, all day. Yeah, are you silly Billy? Do you want to come over here so you can see mommy a little better while you're playing with your toys? Here you go. 2 someones, brutally. It was defenseless, no question, but I know it was self-defense, no question, but I know I can never go back to 5 minutes ago. Having taken their lives in that way, it's undoable. So I pick up my weapons. Hey, let's get out of here, I say. Maisie considers the dead careers and relieves the District 4 girl of her dagger. Want anything else? She says. No, I can't use a trident, and the idea of claiming Panesh's sword stained with newcomer blood creeps me out. I'm not his heir. I'm not the new leader of the pack, nor do I want to present myself as such. We walk away from the hedge deeper into the woods, and after a minute the hovercraft flies over us en route to collecting the bodies. The giant claw descends, lifting them 1, 2, 3 into the sky as the craft swallows them up. We stop when they've all been retrieved, and there's nothing to walk away from anymore. You're bleeding, Maisie points out. 2 gashes, one from the deflecting trident and one from Panesh's sword. Sit down, she orders, and I sink onto the fallen log, and she pulls out a first aid kit from her black backpack. I got this off a dead career. Her shirt sleeves have been cut off at the shoulders, and I note the burn marks on her arms, competing for space with the riding crop welts and a range of cuts and bruises. Her skin is a map of the abuse that she has suffered since the reaping. Who would have ever believed that coddled Maisie Donner of the nail polish and velvet bows would come to this, and face it with such fortitude? Mama used to say you never know who's gonna swim in a flood. I guess that lava just burned up everything in its path, I ask. No, it wasn't even hot. It was like some sort of gel that gave you chemical burns if it got under your clothes, and then it turned hard and slippery as ice. Oh, I guess that's why there was no smoke and I didn't burn up, I think. Methodically, Maisie cleans the wounds and closes them neatly with even stitches. I'm not even surprised, really, after watching her craft those artful tokens and out of spit and string. And when I'm sealed up again, she sits across from me and clocks my pack. Have any food? Oh yeah, I've got piles of it, but tragically no silverware. One side of her mouth curls up and she pulls a pocket knife and a fork twisted out of a piece of wire from her pocket. That's okay, we're covered. Well, that's a game changer. Are you free for dinner? Because I'm in possession of 2 very fine potatoes. They're raw, but potentially bakeable. You? I have 3 slices of dried beef and a can, well, half a can of olives. Want to go 50-50? Hey, Isabella. Close your eyes for a minute. And Maisie squints at me. Why? Just do it. And she closes one. Both of them, I say. And when she does, I pull out my glass, which has heroically survived the day, and I empty the rest of the bottle onto it and hold it out. Okay, open up. At the sight of the elegant glass, the rich grape juice, she gives a gasp. That is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. It's yours. It's a thank you for saving my life. And she grins. 50-50 or no deal. Done. Because really, I do like the juice, like all fire. But you first, I say. And Maisie takes the glass and sniffs the bouquet like it's a fine wine and takes a sip. Hi, sweet girl. Yeah, I know. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Are you having fun with your toys? Yeah. Here you go. Tears actually come to her eyes. Oh, my word, I never thought that I would taste home again. And then she hands it back. Now you. Evening falls as we take our time passing the glass back and forth, savoring every drop, and I make sure she gets the last mouthful. She wipes out the glass with her handkerchief and tries to return it. No, you keep it. It belongs with your table setting. She carefully stows it away in her pack, and I lean back against the log, spent. So I've barely seen a soul. What's going on out there? And Maisie thinks a moment, fingering a burn on her arm. Well, it's hard to say. I mean, the arena's on the blink, but I'm sure you're aware of that. If you mean the other tributes, for all I know, we're the last 2 left. Well, if it comes to that, I'm on borrowed time anyway. Don't think twice about using those darts. You think I couldn't? I look her straight in the eye. I remember all the years of meanness, but I also factor in how she transformed since the reaping, defending Luella, helping Ampert, looking out for the newcomers. No, I think you could, I say. And just for a second, a look crosses her face. It's young and vulnerable. Thanks for that. I think you could. I don't think... Sorry. He says, I think you couldn't. And then she says back, thanks for that. I don't think you could either. Wow. Wow. I shake my fist at the sky, right? Shake your fist at the sky. Say, arr, arr, arr. She thinks that's hilarious. Yeah? You think that's funny? You think that's funny? You do? Yeah. Just before the moment gets too embarrassing, the anthem begins to play and our heads tilt up. By my count, we were 26 last night, Maisie says. Yeah, mine too. If I keep track of the overall number, can you remember who's gone? You're better at details. I'll do my best. Maisie fingers entwine in her necklace as she hones in on the sky. Panesh appears first, followed by all 4 of the kids from District 2. The fingers on my right hand press into the pine needles. Bad day for the careers. But then Ampert leads off his entire team. Every single kid from District 3 is history. Bad day for everybody, says Maisie. Next, the boy and the girl that I just killed from District 4. Seems like the first time I've ever even looked at them. I feel sick thinking of their families. Self-defense, I know. So I focus on the head count. We're up to 11, I say. A boy and a girl from District 5. 5's out now, says Maisie. One of my doves, Atred, who's the last boy from District 6, a boy from District 10, then a girl from District 11 who isn't Chicory. Blackout. 16, I say. That leaves 10 of us. Only 2 careers left. Silka from 1 and Mariette from 4. 8 of us newcomers. You, me, Hull, Chicory from 11. Maisie takes a deep breath, concentrating. Ringina and the other girl from 7. I think her name's Autumn. 2 more, though. Who am I missing? One of my doves from 6. Right, Welly. And someone else, I can't place them right off. A boy, I think. He's dressed in red. District 10, she concludes. And I remember Ampert swinging his lariat around the gym. A boy from 10 had made it for him. Buck, I say. Yeah, that's it. You did great. I don't know how you remembered them all. I focused on their clothes and their colors. No more purple, no more electric blue, no orange or peach or yellow, and it's just a smattering of the rest of us. Only 2 careers left, though, I say. Wyatt would like those odds. At the mention of our old odds maker, we both fall silent. 38 of us dead. 39 if you count Lulu. 40 if you count Woodbine. Just a smattering of us left. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem real. Nothing here is real. The fake moon rises, casting a silver light over our clearing. When this is over, because I can't swipe out and still listen for some reason. Oh, yeah. I feel Maisie just a few feet away, sense her pulse and rise up and the fall of her chest, the rise and the fall of her chest as she seems impenetrable the rest of it. Possibly I've died by poisoning in the tunnel on Panesha's sword, and I've moved on to Lenore Dove's worlds where I continue to dream of life. Have you killed anyone besides Barba and Angler? Maisie asks. Those must be the kids that I fought from District 4. No, I say, just them. You? Yeah? Yeah? What else? Good job holding that with 2 hands. Very good. Very good. That's pretty heavy. Yeah, good job. Good job. Where's your knot? Here's your otter. Here's your otter. I don't know where the knot went, honey. Oh, here it is. Here it is. That's lighter. Yeah. Panesh was my second. I took out Lupe from District 1 just a couple of days ago. He broke away from the pack with Camilla from 2. Pretty sure I got a dart into her, but the volcano might have finished her in the end. The thunk of the pot hitting the ground behind us makes us jump. Maisie retrieves the gift and detaches the parachute. I hope it's food, she says, and she lifts the lid off, and a cloud of bean and ham hock soup steam dampens my face. Mags. She's trying to reach us, to let us know we're not alone in our pain, to give us strength to go on, tears to fill my eyes, forcing me to admit my presence in the world as only I know it. Not an imaginary one, the one where I am in the Hunger Games, for real. Oh, this is like when my grandmother died, says Maisie. Mine too. I don't list all my dead. It's not a competition. She unclips 2 spoons from the lid of the pot and hands me one. Silently, we eat our soup, 50-50. The night air feels chilly. Maisie pulls her shirt down over her knees for warmth and hugs herself, but I can still see the goose flesh on her arms. I could make a fire if you like, I offer. Yeah, that would be good, if you don't think it's too dangerous, she says. Not if one of us keeps watch. In fact, it could be a good thing if the other newcomers can find us. We can handle Mariette and Silka, right? With you and those darts, I don't think you'd even need me. I collect wood and I put my flint striker to work. Aren't you a sly dog? Says Maisie, smuggling that in. Yeah, well, you know how I like my pretty with a purpose. My voice catches a bit, remembering where I heard that, and I concentrate on getting a fire going. Maisie smooths out a small tarp on the ground and settles herself on it and rubs her hands over the blaze. You can sleep now if you want. I'm not tired. The circles under her eyes, sorry, she says that. She says, you can sleep now if you want. I'm not tired. But the circles under her eyes say otherwise. Still, I'm fading fast. Okay, but wake me anytime you want me to take over. And I secure my flint striker around my neck and spread out my hammock on the ground and stretch out on it, watching tongues of fire dance. It works better if you close your eyes, she said. You think that was funny by Maisie? Here, take it then. Take it. Yeah. Yeah, I shift positions, but something seems unfinished, like I never really thanked her for today. But no, I did, with the juice. But that doesn't even begin to cover it. What do you say to the meanest girl in town who has somehow become your friend? No more. Really? No, more than a friend, really. A newcomer. Being tributes and not killing each other, looking out for each other with no questions asked, that's family, I guess. You need to sleep while you can, Hamish. I know, but what I'm thinking, and you and me, remember what Ambert said when you made his token? There's a long pause before she says, sure, he said I'll be your... Really? Really? You want to play with this? Why are we so screamy right now? Why are we screamy pants? Why are we screamy pants? Why? Why are we screamy? Yeah, good job. That's really good. But maybe we don't be screamy pants. What do you think? Yeah, here. Don't grab it from there. If you grab it, do it like this, it'll become more fun. There you go. That's more fun. I know, right? She's like, wee. I know, but I'm thinking, you and me, do you remember what Ambert said when you made his token? There's a long pause before she said, sure, I'll be your sister. Our hands reach out at the same time and clasp and then release. All right, night, sis. And I roll over and I let sleep take me. My dreams are nothing I want to remember, full of people that I must never forget. I visit death after death, and it's a relief to be woken up. Maisie has let me sleep most of the night, and then we switch places, and I'm determined to give her the same opportunity. Axe and knife at hand, I keep the fire burning with bits of fuel until the sun rises on our 5th day in the arena. My stomach growls so loud that I'm afraid it might wake her. Last night's soup seems a distant memory. I should be watching the woods, but my eyes keep drifting upward, hoping for a sponsor gift. But nothing would be too small. A piece of bread, a bit of cheese. Our water's getting mighty low. I focus on my plan. Obviously, I was onto something with that hedge. They played me, but they also confirmed what I suspected. I found the end of the arena, and if I can get through that shrubbery, I'll find the generator and I'll hack it to bits. Time's a wasting, but Maisie deserves some shut-eye. So to distract myself, I pull her tarp out from under my butt and I attempt to fashion it to some sort of gizmo to catch rainwater, in the event that any more should fall anyway. My effort results in a crooked funnel of sorts, and I tie it with vines at the point. It seems like something of an achievement until I hear laughter. Made yourself a hat, did you? I'm kind of glad just to hear her laugh. This, I'll have you know, is a first-class water catcher, and you're gonna eat those words, I say. Oh, will I? Exactly how are all the raindrops supposed to find that tiny opening? She has a point. There's very little room for the rain to enter, which is no way to collect water. The water that fills our rain barrel has a roof to catch it before it finds its way down into the drain pipe. More surface area then, you think? Yeah, I am thinking. Maisie holds her hand out for my funnel and she wraps the tarp and flattens it out thoughtfully. It's about 4 by 4 feet with little rings in the corners for securing it. Well, first we need some way to mount it. And she looks around and then gathers some of the vines and I'll help her tie them to the rings. She borrows my knife and punches a small hole in the very center of the tarp. Okay, now water can run out of there. Wish that we had some kind of tube or something. It would channel into your jug. We take inventory of all our stuff, which seems fruitless until I spy the wine glass. I remember how the juice filled the entire stem. Hey, how attached are you to this? Less attached than I am to water, says Maisie. Placing the glass carefully on the log, I chop off the base and the bowl, leaving the hollow glass tube, and Maisie slides it into the hole. The jagged glass does a nice job of holding it in place. You turned all the way around. My goodness, look at you. That should work, she says. Now all we need is a rain shower. And she folds up the tarp carefully and returns it to her pack. So what's the plan? I was thinking we might go back to the cornucopia to see if we can find any food that got left behind, and then we can go look for other newcomers. Do you think that maybe we should find them first? I think we should head north, I say. North? Whatever for? I just have a feeling about it, I say, so the game makers won't suspect my next move. Hamish, I need food. I thought you weren't a breakfast person, I say. Yeah, well, in here, I'm a breakfast, lunch, and supper person. I really never knew what it was like to be hungry before. I mean, like, really, really hungry. It hurts. And she presses her hand against her stomach, and it scares me. I'm familiar, but I'm bent on heading north. Okay, can we at least try to locate the careers packs? They might have hidden them somewhere around here before they hunted you. Yeah, good thinking, but not for long. 15 minutes and we gotta go. Maisie gives me a probing look but begins the search. She suspected I wasn't being upfront with her back in the apartment. I don't know if she credits me with the arena breakdown, but she knows something is still up that I'm not sharing. Should I tell her? How? And when? Those cameras have to be on us. We go back to the site of the fight and spiral out looking for any supplies that the careers might have stashed. Sure enough, we find some tucked under a rock shelf only a short distance away. 3 backpacks of various sizes, and we dump them out onto the ground and take stock of the contents. A hammock like mine, 2 empty water jugs, 3 handkerchiefs, a bottle of syrupy medicine for when you've been poisoned, a second tarp, a blowtorch, something like the one I've seen Tam Amber use, and I press the lever and there's a click and 6 inches of flame shoots out. Maisie raises her eyebrows. Huh, starting a fire will be a cinch now. Almost makes me sad, seeing Lenore's gift become obsolete so quickly. Yeah, until the fuel runs out, I counter. And we lay out the food with care. A flat tin of sardines, a banana with brown spots, 4 rolls, a jar of nut butter with just an inch left, and I add my 2 potatoes and Maisie adds her 3 dried beef jerky strips and olives. Could be worse. All right, breakfast person, what's it gonna be? I ask her, and Maisley takes charge of the food, having the rolls and spread them with nut butter, artfully arranging slices of smushy banana on top. I'm not sure about this combination, but one bite dispels any doubts I have. Hey. Yeah. Hi. Hey, this is prime, I say. They're having a peanut butter banana sandwich. It's very cute. Well, I'm responsible for more innovative flavor combinations in our shop. Did you ever try our hot pepper and cherry taffy? Yeah, I did. That's Mama's favorite. Yeah? You want this instead? She gets out her knife and fork and cuts off a piece of her roll. Yeah, that was mine. Also the cream cheese cinnamon balls and the lavender suckers. The mayor was really partial to those. Sounds like the job wasn't all bad, I can comment. Oh, honey. What are you doing? Why are we screaming? Here, take this. Take it. Take it. Hey. It's right here. Take it. There you go. Oh, that's quite loud. Hey. Do you want to sit up for a second? There you go. Hey, you can't sit up and be screaming. It has to be one or the other. You can't sit and scream. Yeah. I wolf down my sandwiches before she's even finished her first, and I look around for something to do. I take the lids off the Careers water jugs, hoping for a few drops of water, but they're dry as a bone. I guess they were thirsty too. Stripping some of the vines off the tree, I rig a second tarp for water catching. No tube for this one, though. Yeah, we'll make it work, says Maisley. With a second hammock, maybe we can both sleep up in the trees. Yeah, sure. It feels safer up there. If we go high enough, we won't even need to be on watch. We would hear anybody coming. We pack up our booty, and she gestures for me to go first. All right, after you. Yeah, she is a multitasker. She can. She's sitting very well and screaming, but holding my hands to do the sitting. Yes. Mommy is holding your hands and reading at the same time. Mommy's a multitasker too. Yeah. Trouble is, I don't know where we are. I head off like I do know, trekking through the woods, which might give me an opportunity to reorient myself. Since I don't entirely trust the sun's position anymore, I'm hoping for a few landmarks to get my bearings. We run into one after about 10 minutes. The blueberry bushes with the broken branches where I hid my first night. That hedge really spit me out a long way from where I entered. Oh, hey, this is where Lulu found me, I tell Maisley. Oh, blueberries. She pulls out a small bowl and begins to gather them by the handful, which alarms me. Hey, you know we can't eat those, right? Of course I do, but my poison's running low. I need to restock, she says. I gather the darts. I guess the darts didn't come with poison, but leave it to Maisley to make them lethal. She mashes the berries into a juicy paste. You really need to do all that right now? It's already late morning and I'm getting fidgety. What's the big rush, Hamish? And that shuts me up. She knows I've got a secret that's worth telling, and she's using it against me like she did with Lenore Dove, I guess. Maisley drains some of the liquid into a heart-shaped glass vial that hangs from one of her other necklaces. It's designed for perfume, so it's got a good tight lid to prevent evaporation. I just wish it held more. She twists the tiny lid back onto the heart. How'd she die anyway, Lulu? Inhaling bee-balm, I say. Amber told me about Wyatt. When my niece was little, she used to call a multitasker a two-tasker. That's really cute. I mean, she's not wrong. He was trying to shield her when he died. She ran away and I tried to follow her, but I lost her at the mountain. Maisley wipes at her bowl with some leaves. I wonder what they're thinking back home. I bet everyone's rooting for you. Maybe before the gong, but not anymore. You're the one who tried to stick with the newcomers. I know I'd be rooting for you. Trying's not doing. No, but it sure beats not trying. And of course, I've been trying to accomplish any number of things that I'm sure never made it onto air. But trying wasn't doing that either. At least I know which way to head now. Maybe at the hedge, I'll be able to get something done. We hike along in silence, keeping an eye out for careers, for newcomers, for mutts, but meeting no one. Sometimes we pass a casualty of flooding, trees that are dripping blood instead of sap, a gaping hole where something exploded, leaving a slimy, clear liquid coating everything in its vicinity, but a stump that belches sulfurous, glowing gas. All have given a wide berth. I stop to examine a trio of dead fox mutts, fur as orange as sunset, who appeared to have died eating poisonous eggs. What do you think those things were designed to do? I ask. Steal our food, probably, says Maisie. Or eat us, I think, like the squirrels. Who knows? Maybe those were programmed for me. Around midday, we reach the hedge. It's a maze, I tell Maisie. No point in trying to outsmart it. It'll spin you around for miles. So what's your plan? My plan is that we cut straight through it and we take a gander at what it looks like on the other side. So I drop my pack to the ground, I roll up my sleeves, and I pull out my long knife. Maisie surveys the hedge, its height, its length, and then she steps in closer for a look at the holly leaves and speckled berries. Something's not right about this hedge. She looks back over her shoulder, considering what's behind us. But that's nothing new, I guess. Yeah, I was in it for hours yesterday. The worst is I got lost. I think that's its purpose, I reassure her. She sets down her pack and pulls out a dagger she got from Barba. We slip it through the opening and take advantage of the 10 feet of straight path, and then stop as it begins to curve into the maze. I square my shoulders so that I'm facing true north. Here, this is where we should go in. Probably the faster the better. Gotcha. Maisie steps up beside me. On 3, then? I nod, and we count together, slowly raising our weapons. 1, 2, 3. And we bring down our blades, simultaneously slicing cleanly through the greenery. But we've barely finished our first strokes when dozens of hollyberries pop off their stems and swarm up our arms. We both give a holler and begin brushing them off. What the hell are these? I exclaim. Ladybugs, says Maisie. Ladybugs? I lift my hand to examine one of them, and it is a ladybug, all right, or pretty near to one. All up and down my arm, the creatures latch onto my flesh. Within seconds, they've inflated to the size of acorns, and they begin exploding, splattering my face with my blood. I'm sorry, is that not one of the most horrific things you've ever heard in your life? That is truly horrific. Truly horrific. It says the next chapter is 20 minutes long, and we have 15, but I think we can make it. So let's just try, right? Let's try chapter 21. I think I can do it. She is content right now because she's sitting between my legs and playing with her stuff. So if I can keep her content, we can read the next chapter. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, now you're calling my bluff already? Chapter 21. Maisie has already fled the hedge, and I hightail it after her. Both of us scream our heads off, running in circles as we try to claw at the things from our skin. Once they've attached those tiny hypothermic needle mouths, they're stubborn as all get out. Pluck, Maisie orders me. Pluck! She dances in place and has settled enough to be pinching each ladybug and yanking it straight out. I follow suit, and the suckers are dug in deep, skin akin to those really determined ticks. If I get a grip up near the head and pull firmly and slowly, they pop out in a spray of blood. Planting my feet on the ground to steady myself, I mutter, bug by bug, bug by bug, bug by bug. As I pluck away at my arms, my neck, my face, I strip off my shirt and pants, but only a few made it beneath the loose fabric. When I'm largely vermin-free, I go to work on Maisie, who's sleeveless and has gotten the worst of it. Bug by bug, bug by bug. She's trembling all over, and what do you know, so am I. Bug by bug, we chant together, bug by bug. When all the visible ones are gone, she strips down to her underwear too. My back? Yeah, there's a half a dozen of them there. I'm light-headed and I want to sit down, but I don't stop until every bug is dead and gone. Okay, you're clean, I tell her. You're all clean. We both slump to the ground, pale and drained of our bloody skivvies. Parched, I dig in my pack for water and insist that she drink first. I'm sorry, this was my fault. Talking big like I knew what was in there. I swear, none of those bothered me yesterday. I don't think the game makers want us going through the hedge, Maisie observes. I nod. Yeah, message received. How much blood do you think we lost? She asks. I don't know, maybe like a cup or two. A rogue ladybug then explodes behind my ear, making me woozy. I pull 3 beef strips out of the pack and hand them to her. Here, you gotta get some iron in your blood. She divides them in half. 50-50, she says, and as we eat, she comments, your plan is not sustainable. I look at her, sawing away at her jerky with her pocket knife and homemade fork, and I can't help laughing a bit. No, it's certainly not. My head's too muddled to come up with a new plan now. Really? Really? My head's too muddled to come up with a new plan. All I can do is stretch out on my back and stare at the perfect azure blue sky. I can't seem to think straight. Yeah, me either. She rustles in the pack. Do you like olives? No idea, I've never had one. She holds one out to me. Suck on it for a bit and get the salt out. There's a pit in there. I place one on my tongue, assessing the smooth skin and the strange, rich taste, tangy and metallic. Not bad. She deposits 2 more in my palm. I savor each one, rolling it around in my mouth and slowly letting my teeth wear it down to the pit. Time passes, clouds move in, rain begins to fall. The tarps! I cry, and we shakily find our feet and unfold our tarps. Reluctant to place them under the poisonous tree, we drive branches into the ground to form posts and stretch the tarps out so there's nothing between them and the sky. Almost immediately we get results, and slow trickles run off of them into the waiting water jugs below. The rain intensifies and we stand, heads back, washing the blood from our faces and our bodies. When we pass for clean, we hold our clothes out in the downpour, laundering them as best as we can. After about 20 minutes, the clouds turn off like somebody twisted a faucet. We dress, letting the thin material dry on our bodies, and we pass a water jug between us. Well, if we weren't before, we're bloodkin now, says Maisie. Sure enough, sis. I think I swallowed enough of your blood to qualify anyway. Did you ever want a sister for real? I had 2 of them for a short time. Twins, like you and Marilee. They didn't make it, though. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. No reason that you should. It was before school and all that. A sad look crossed her face. I keep wondering, will Marilee still be a twin after I'm gone? Always, I say without hesitation, imagining Sid watching us. I hope he won't think of himself as an only child. This is going to be hard on her, says Maisie. After the games come and the fallout from the games, spreading out like ripples in a pond when you toss a rock, concentric circles of damage washing over the tributes' families, their friends, their neighbors, to the ends of the district. Those in closest get hit worse. White liquor and depression, broken families and violence and life ending of your own. We never really... Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. That is quite the drool, my darling. Quite. Hi. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. You gotta be all dry. It's good for your face to stay dry. Yeah. Okay, here you go. You can have this back now. Hey, Jamantha. White liquor, depression, broken families, violence, life ending. We never really recover. We just move on the best we can. Hey, here you go. Here you go. It's right here. There you go. You can have it back. Sid's still so young, so tender for this world. Oh, really? Why are we so screaming all of a sudden? You were fine a second ago. You were fine. You were fine. You were fine. You're fine. Hey, hey. Oh, are you okay? Okay. Are we hungry? Are you hungry? You want to finish the rest of the book while you eat? Is that what you want? Yeah, do you want to eat? Do you want to eat? There you go. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. You can eat. That's fine. Sid is still so young, too tender for this world. I worry about my brother too, I say. He comes to the shop sometimes. He loves his taffy. His name's Sid, right? I'm touched that she knows his name and remembered that detail about him. Yeah, it's Sid. The cannon sounds twice, startling us. I guess it's too much to hope that Silka and Mariette are those, I say. I don't know what to hope for. That would leave us as only newcomers, and then what? Says Maisie bleakly. Then what indeed? I guess another meeting, like you said in the capital. And if we agree to stay true? More mutts, I say. Another volcano eruption, probably. Hunger, she rubs at her stomach. So can we go back to the cornucopia now to look for food? It's probably a 6-mile hike. Should we try to recover a bit more? What food do we have left again? She asks. I check the pack. Sardines, olives, and 2 raw potatoes. We better try for the cornucopia, she says. The truth is, I'm so wiped out I'd rather sit here and hope for food to drop from the sky, but I owe it to her to try her idea. Besides, the longer the games go on, the pricier it becomes to send us anything, and our sponsor donations may be depleted, so we pack up everything and we head south. We trudge along for a couple of miles before Maisie stops and raises her hand. Shh, listen. I strain my ears, but they're still not so good as normal with the blast and all. Things sound kind of muffled and partial, like I've got bits of cotton wool in my ears. I don't hear anything. Shh, she whispers urgently. Over there. and she points off to our right, to the west. I cock my head for a better reception and this time pick up something. Is that a baby? My brain starts spinning images of ravenous babies designed with superhuman strength crawling around in the woods, crying for us to help them, but really looking to swarm us and pick our bones clean as a wishbone with their chubby little fingers. I thought so at first, but there's an animal sound to it too, kind of squealing and mewling like a goat or a kitten. My mind adds horns and fluffy tails to the mutt babies I see. All right, let's keep clear. Whatever it is, it does not need our help. An agonizing scream echoes through the trees, definitely from a guy. No, but he does. All the male careers are dead, Hamish. Maisie loads her blowgun. That's either Hull or Buck. I pull my knife and my axe. All right, let's go. I ditch my pack in a patch of Katniss. That got me. I ditch my pack in a patch of Katniss, and we take off towards the disturbance. I can't shake the image of those baby mutts from my mind, but I forge ahead, already thinking of protecting my kneecaps. The weird baby noise has become more distinct and less recognizable, but it's overlaid by some familiar moans of human pain. Suddenly, Maisie yanks me to the ground, and I'm peering through the bushes down a small slope into a clearing. About 15 feet away, Buck and Chicory lie writhing on the ground. Long metallic spikes that resemble knitting needles protrude from their flesh. They paw at them with clumsy hands as if they've gotten really bad frostbite or something's disabled their fingers. I'm trying to make sense of the scene. Does Silka have a weapon that shoots projectiles? Did they run into a pine tree with detachable poison needles? Is there an army of mutt wasps with wicked stingers? The mutts so far have come in droves, be it butterflies, bats, squirrels, or ladybugs, so I'm thrown when the lone source of the attack waddles into view. Porcupines inhabit the hills around 12. Lenore Dove has an affection for the ones back home. Quillpegs, she calls them, saying that they're misunderstood, but they can't shoot quills at people like they think. You have to come in contact with them. Are you all done? It's right here, honey. Yeah, there you go. Especially their tails. If you leave them be, they'll leave you be. But even she would have had trouble loving this massive mutant beast. It's the size of a bear. In fact, it might have been crossed with one in the lab, given its claws and teeth. Like everything in the arena, it's striking in its way. Rows of pure gold, silver, and bronze quills adorn its back, sides, and tails gleaming in the sunlight. But I'm long over being seduced by this arena's beauty. Distorted baby sounds continue to scream from its mouth as it snuffs around the clearing. Hull, who has half a dozen quills dangling from his swollen face, hollers as he lunges with a pitchfork. The porcupine responds by backing towards him. Its deadly rear raises and bristling. Hull runs away, but he's trying to get to his allies, hoping that they might only be injured instead of dying. We need some kind of shield, Maisie whispers, sliding off her pack and pulling out the tarps. I run my fingers over the thick canvas coated with something to make it waterproof, but not enough necessarily for quill proofing. Maybe if we double them up, I suggest. Layered together, they feel a bit more secure. All right, what's the plan? I think we're safe if we keep our distance, and it has to make contact with us with the quills. We weigh our options, and Maisie decides I can try the darts if we're a bit closer, but I'm afraid that they'll have trouble getting through its skin. You think that you could get to it with your knife? Here, it's right here, it's right here, it's right here. Yeah. I'm not sure. It does look pretty well protected. Maybe if we get it to flip on its back and get to the underbelly, flip it with what? I spy a sturdy tree limb on the ground. I don't know, that branch might work. Just then, the porcupine twists its hindquarters and drives a slew of quills into Hull's thigh. He cries out in agony and sinks to the ground. I retrieve the branch and start snapping off the smaller shoots to streamline into the staff. The sound draws the attention of the beast, and it begins to chatter its teeth together. It shifts in our direction and approaches. A stench of musk and roses washes over us, making my eyes water. Maisie hoists the double tarp up in front of us, and we peer over it. I don't have a lot of confidence in flipping this thing, she says, and it's still too far for the darts. What about your axe? Can you throw it? With the amount of kindling... With the amount of kindling the world's requiring of me, chopping wood for white liquor and laundry, I've messed around with axes plenty. This one's the long side, though. I've never practiced with it, though it's not dissimilar to the ones I threw at Regina back in training. I can try, I say, but you better have those darts ready. I shove my knife into my belt and I get a double-handed grip on the axe, the way that they say it was best in the gym. Okay, now, as Maisie lowers the tarps, I drop the axe back behind my head and then I launch it at the porcupine. It takes one rotation before the blade buries itself in the side of the beast. A squeal of pain, of indignation rings out. The mutt puts us squarely in line with its butt, but I'm not too worried because we still have 10 feet between us, and then it begins to demonstrate some unusual behavior. It's quivering at first, which leads it to shake like a wet dog. The quills shoot out in a sunburst, and Maisie barely has time to yank the tarps back up before a dozen pierce them. One sticks the bulb of my nose, and another comes a hair's breadth from my pupil, dangerously close to blinding me. I jerk back and I rip the quill from my nose. Tiny bits of my flesh are clinging to the barbed end, leaving it raw and a stinging wound. Still keeping the tarps aloft, Maisie removes a spike from her cheek with a wince. Once again, you were misinformed, she says. I'm sorry, nothing behaves naturally here. She turns the tarp 90 degrees to get the quills away from our eyes as we peek over the top, and I spot my axe lying on the ground, freed by the mutt's shaking. Do you think my axe did any damage? Hard to say, she says. The porcupine goes on a rampage, stamping its feet and fussing like a toddler having a meltdown, only I know this is nobody's baby. It's just an abomination whipped up in a test tube to murder us. It begins to shake again, and we duck below the tarps for cover as another round of quills peppers us. A cannon sounds, and I only know one of the newcomers has gone. 2 remain alive. I don't know what poison the quills carry, but my nose has swelled up like a ripe strawberry. If we give them an antidote, maybe they could still recover. Should I drink some now? Is 1 quill enough to kill you? We need to get to them, I tell Maisie. We need to try the antidote. Yeah, but I don't think your stick's going to be of much use, she says. And I don't think anything's going to be of much use since it can't shoot the quills. I watch the creature, since it can still shoot the quills. I watch the creature continue its tantrum, and I think of Sid when he was a little one. Maybe we're going about this all wrong. Maybe we should try to soothe it. Soothe it? Yeah, like when you try to calm down a baby, and then it just gets to move on. Like sing it a lullaby, maybe? Maisie deadpans. I don't know, maybe, I counter. Or give it a pacifier. I guess you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Maisie unearthed the cans from her pack. Should we give it olives or sardines? Well, olives are easier to throw. I pull one out and I chuck it in front of the porcupine, which it ignores. I bounce a few more off its nose. The cries mellow to whimpers, and it runs its snout along the forest floor, scarfing up the olives. Who doesn't love salt? I lob another one a couple of feet ahead at the mutt, and it lumbers after it, and then another, stretching out in the distance each time until I've got 10 yards outside the clearing. Out of olives, I throw the empty can as far as I can into the woods, as far as my strength allows, and I hear the porcupine crashing through the trees like a dog after a bone. A second cannon fires, and Maisie's in the clearing in a flash, trying to tip the antidote between Hull's lips. I check for chicory and Buck's pulses, just in case those cannons were for some unfortunate tribute elsewhere, but there's nothing. I join Maisie, who's managed to coax some of the syrup down Hull's throat, and I begin plucking quills from the leg to reduce the poison. Come on, Hull, she tells him. You've got to drink this down. Come on now. He's trying. His throat muscles are rippling with the effort, but the antidote is bubbling back and spilling down the side of his face. We continue, her coaxing, me plucking, until the cannon sounds, and even then, for a few minutes more, because maybe someone as young and strong and deserving of life as Hull might find his way back to it. But he doesn't. And so finally we give up. The hovercraft approaches, the vulture hungry for its remains and the remains of our allies. From deep in the woods comes a sound of the porcupine chomping on the olive can, its targets long forgotten. Evening's cool air brushes my cheek and diffuses the creature's musk. Maisie passes me a bottle and I take a swig of the antidote. I don't know how much poison 1 quill delivers, but why take the chance? It tastes like somebody mixed bits of chalk into buttermilk and forgot to stir it. Maisie and I go around and shut each of the dead tribute's eyes, trying to arrange their bodies properly so that their family's last image won't be of their contorted limbs. We know someone else who did this. On our way out of the clearing, we collect the axe, our tarps, and their supplies. The claws begin the descent as we reach my backpack, and we sit down smack in a clump of Katniss, side by side, completely done in. I can barely hear her whisper, "One of us has to win this thing." My eyes travel up along the long stems to the arrow-shaped leaves, white pearls concealing us from the Capitol's cameras. Why's that? I whisper back. One of us has to be the worst victor in history. Tear up their scripts, tear down their celebrations, set fire to the victor's village, refuse to play their game. Reminds me of Pa. Make sure they don't use our blood to paint their posters, I say. Exactly. We'll paint our own posters, and I know just where we can get the paint. In a gesture I remember from the schoolyard a long time ago, she extends her pinky and says, swear it. And I encircle it with my own, and our pinkies lock together. They'll never let me be a victor, not long after my attempt to break the arena, but I can swear to try to keep her alive. Hey, look, one of us has to paint those posters. And she rises and pulls me up. Let's check the supplies. Our allies must have recently received a parachute because one pack holds crackers, baked beans, and an unexpected treat. Raisins mixed with nuts and candy. There's a blanket too, and some more water jugs, one half full. We decide to save the cornucopia for tomorrow. So I start a fire. Mazily heats up the beans, which we dine on in our own fashion by fork or cracker, and then eat one more treat, one morsel at a time. The anthem plays, and Regina and Autumn appear, followed by Buck and Chicory and Hull. 5 gone, 5 left, I report. You, me, Silka, Mariette, and Welly. Welly, out there as night falls, dealing with this all alone. We gotta find Welly tomorrow. Right, we'll find her, says Mazily. It could work for her to win, too. You sleep first, Hamish. I'll keep watch. No point in pretending I'm not running on empty, so I wrap the blanket around her shoulders and make a hammock bed and curl up in the mesh. I sure could use that lullaby right about now. She gives a surprisingly unladylike snort. You don't want to hear what's running through my head. Started in the maze and just won't quit. Got you an earworm, do you? Well, only cure for that is to pass it on to someone else. All right then, you asked for it. And she begins to sing in a low voice. Ladybug, ladybug, fly away home. Your house is on fire, your children all gone. All except one who answers to none, who's hiding under the frying pan. A grin crosses my face at the silly song from our childhood. Well, I guess I brought that one on myself, huh? Good night, sis. I try to fall asleep, but Maiseli's earworm has given me a brainworm. Ladybug? Fire? The flint striker? No. The blowtorch? Fear. Fly away. The pieces spin around in a tornado, and then they cling together like long-lost lovers, and I know exactly how we're getting through the maze. Oh, I think he's gonna torch the place. I think he's gonna torch the place. Yeah. My sweet sleepy angel. All right, well. Despite the banging, we managed to get through it all. And that is the whole kit and caboodle there. Yes, I agree, Brittany. They should burn it all down. I'm excited that she seems to be asleep, so maybe I'll get her in a wrap and she'll be able to sleep for a while. Hopefully I'll see you all later, but I will let you know tomorrow book club, but no live after because I'm getting my eyes dilated for that appointment. But I will have this uploaded for anyone who missed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.